And so after doing all of that review, that brings us to our topic for this week, which is how to multiply and divide rational numbers, which is basically fractions or decimals that can be positive or negative. So in order to be successful this week, you need to remember how to multiply and divide regular fractions and decimals that were positive, like you would have done in 6th grade and 5th grade. And you also need to remember the rules for multiplying and dividing integers that we learned in section 1.4 of Unit 1. So in this question, I'm doing -5 1/5 divided by 3 1/3. And I need to first use my prior knowledge about how to divide decimals. So I'm going to write both of these as an improper fraction. So 5 times 5 would be 25, plus 1 would be 26. Now it was -5 1/5, so I'm going to write it as -26/5. And then I'm dividing that by 3 1/3, but I'm going to write it as an improper fraction. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So dividing by 10/3. And then still using my prior knowledge from how to divide fractions, I'm gonna rewrite it by, instead of dividing by 10/3, I'm gonna multiply by the reciprocal. So flipping the numerator and the denominator. And now I'm ready to multiply these fractions, but I don't really want to multiply 26 times 3 and then 5 times 10 and then try to figure out what common factors those fractions the numerator and denominator could possibly have in common. So I'm going to look to see if I can cross cancel before I multiply, because I know it's going to make my life easier. So 3 and 5 don't have any common factors, but 26 and 10 are both even. So I'm going to simplify both of those by a factor of 2. 26 divided by 2 is 13. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And now I'm ready to multiply. So 13 times 3 is 39. 5 times 5 is 25. 39 and 25 don't have any common factors, but I also need to use my prior knowledge from Unit 1, which is that anytime the signs are opposite, so one number is negative and another number is positive, the quotient is going to be negative. And that rule, as you probably remember, works for both multiplication and division, not addition and subtraction. So our final answer would be -39/25. And you're welcome to change it into a mixed number, but it's unnecessary. It's okay to just leave it as an improper fraction. It has the correct value that our answer should have. So there's no reason to do more work than what we've already done. Looking at question number 2, I'm multiplying -2.5 by -3.6. And so I need to use my prior knowledge about multiplying decimals to first find the product. So 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Add the 0. 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And my final answer is 900, but I'm not done because I need to figure out where my decimal point goes. So I had 2 decimals in my original question, so my final answer also needs to have 2 decimals. And then 9.00, I don't need those decimals. It has a value of 9. So my final answer is 9, and then I also need to use my prior knowledge from Unit 1. Anytime I'm multiplying two numbers who have the same sign, in this case a negative and a negative, my answer is going to be positive. So that's how I know that my answer is +9, not -9.